Hello and welcome everybody to today's live commodity market analysis with the Gold and Silver Club for the 26th of January 2017, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. Today's session will be covering live market analysis. We'll go through how we expect the markets to move next, a watch list of trading opportunities, an overview of commodities, and of course we'll be covering our top trades over the last week as well. Just before we get into that, to the Gold and Silver Club. The Gold and Silver Club is the #1 commodities trading and investment coaching company. We're regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading as internationally respected experts. Our analysis and our opinions on the metals, the energies and the agricultural markets, they're routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. Our team of experts has trained and mentored over 100,000 private traders from all over the world to increase their wealth and generate substantial income through commodities using our exclusive research-driven strategies. So for more information on the Gold and Silver Club and our expertise, please feel free to visit our website, which is www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, so with that, we'll have a look at the month-to-date relative performance of markets so far. And it's been interesting, certainly over the course of the last 24 hours. We've seen a shift here in several commodities, most notably the metals. So we've seen quite a considerable drop in prices of palladium, dropped 7% yesterday. Palladium was the best performing commodity so far in 2017, just up until yesterday's close. Coffee, now the second best performing market, up 12%. Platinum up 8.5%. Copper up 8%. Silver up 5.4%. Sugar up 4.8%. Wheat up 3%. Corn up 3.6%. And gold up 3.5%. So with that, I thought we can have a look at gold first. And for those of you who were on last week's session, in fact, I just retweeted the update from that in case any of you missed that. Last week, we talked about gold, the potential for it to retrace back towards 1,185 US dollars per ounce. So this time last week, that is what we discussed. We said that that was the likely level for a projected pullback at this point in time, that gold was overdue a pullback. And that's the level that we're looking at. If you have a look right now at the chart of gold, it has indeed pulled back spot on to 1,185 US dollars per ounce. It's finding support at the moment, right at the monthly pivot and also at the 21-day moving average. So we pull back to that zone, a bit like a price going towards a magnet in this sense that the key moving averages, major levels of support and resistance, the price will gravitate towards. Once it breaks through a level of support, it will have clean air until it gets to that next level, which is exactly what we've seen. And that's why we've been projecting a level to be reached at 1185. That was the next real key zone of support here for gold. Now, for those of you who've been following our weekly reports for a while now, either via FX Street or our own newsletters and our own YouTube channel, you'll be aware now that we have capitalized on the breakout from the January effect at the beginning of the year. We banked 700 points on this breakout over the last 3.5 weeks. In fact, on Monday, we saw gold breach and close up to 2-month highs, but subsequently it's had a failed move at 1,119 US dollars per ounce. It's rolled over from that level, broke through a trend line. Just yesterday, the close yesterday was an important signal. We had a break and a close below the previous day's low, major trend zone as well that was holding gold up during this entire rally. And also, if we go over to the weekly chart, where we've continued to see gains over 4 weeks, higher highs, higher lows. Now you can see this week we have taken out last week's low. We've also just about breached above last week's high, only to see a bull trap, and we've seen a reversal in price, which is very typical for the gold market. So the way that we're breaking down right now, we are coming to the first level of support. So this will be the first level for gold to hold in terms of the overall price structure for the bulls here. We've come down, had a decisive test of the 21-day moving average, underlying support, and 1185. We're getting a bounce off that level right now. We've had 3 days now of lower lows, lower highs. Looks like we're likely to get a lower close today, but we'll see how the price action continues. I would look at the potential for gold to either consolidate around this zone or some additional weakness here. 1185, it's hit quite quickly following on from yesterday's bearish close back around the 1200 zone. So it's broken down another 150 points. And I would be looking at the next major retracement levels here at approximately 1,175 US dollars. So if we do get another wave of selling here with gold, I would look at that level. And then I would be looking towards a potential consolidation in price. We've got next week the FOMC statement on Wednesday. Next Friday, we've got non-farm payrolls. Certainly short-term momentum is to the downside. We've seen the Dow Jones breaking above that important 20,000 level. So we've seen a lot of follow through on that just yesterday. That's also sparked a liquidation in positions for gold here, as we've seen now this breakdown in price just overnight. So for me, gold right now, we've come out of the position at the right time to bank our profits on the trade. There has been an opportunity short term to just capitalize on the sell short, taking it from 1200 back to 1185. Now is going to be an important area to see how gold reacts to this level, whether it consolidates, whether it breaks down any lower here, whether it gets a retest of the 50-day moving average, which is currently sitting at 1,177 US dollars per ounce. So we could even get a retest of that level. If we do break that zone, I'll be looking around 1175 as the next major level here to keep an eye on. Now, certainly on a weekly closing basis, I would also watch this into tomorrow's close as well, because if we do close below the previous week's low and we are starting a shorter term, larger corrective pullback, it is something to bear in mind on the chart that we do have, of course, a lower high on the chart, lower low, and it is worth bearing in mind that that could be the end of the January effect. In fact, the January effect, really, it's coming towards the end of where you would expect the seasonal cycle to follow through to, being in the last week now, coming into the last week of January approximately. I think next week will be into Wednesday, will be the 1st of February. So we are coming towards the end of this rally. So well done for those of you who've capitalized on this position. I do think it's worthwhile bringing up palladium and showing this market to you, because it's had quite an incredible sell-off yesterday. So we actually broke down, if you have a look at the highs to the lows here, 670 point move in a day, which is very considerable. And we've also seen palladium break down 7% in one day off the highs here. So certainly we've seen quite a large sell-off yesterday. Palladium have been the best performing commodity of this year, up over 15%, especially last Friday after speech when he came into office. We saw palladium rally into the close. It broke out quite considerably, broke out to 1,375 US dollars. Right now, short-term momentum is definitely bearish here, so we might get a further retest back down towards approximately about 700 US dollars per ounce, so potentially another 150 points lower there, or $15 move lower, until we find the next major level of underlying support here. But palladium at the moment, short-term momentum is to the downside. I am looking at opportunities on palladium on any pullbacks here once they get supported and bid back into, to pick up additional positions. It's just been a huge rally going back to November, beginning of November, when Trump came into, won the election, and then Trump coming into office just last week. We saw another spark in prices, and we saw another breakout in prices to the upside. Industrial metals have been very favorable over this year, which include copper, aluminium, palladium. We've seen big moves on all of those markets with the promised infrastructure spending with Trump coming into office in America. So that could have quite a considerable impact over the course of this year. So I am watching palladium as well for potential re-entries, but sitting on the sidelines at the moment after taking this short-term sell short. It's quite considerable, just back towards the 50-day moving average. Now, looking at silver, slightly better than gold in respect to the pullback has been relatively shallow at the moment. It did have a breakout above the 50-day moving average last week. It's come back towards the upper end of its overhead trend channel here. It's been bumping up against resistance, that zone. Essentially, silver has had a perfect retracement from the December lows. So where we saw gold break down to the lows after the FOMC statement, where we saw an increase in interest rates. We saw initially a sell-off to the downside. This is this sell-off here. We consolidated, got a spike low, then reversed from the 76.4 Fibonacci retracement level once we tested that level. Since then, we've been retracing, and silver has just come all the way back up to the upper end of its trend channel here over the last 3.5 weeks. It's finding resistance at that zone. So very clearly, a lot of traders are utilizing these channels at the moment. It's been ricocheting between this support and resistance zone for quite some time, which is very typical for silver. It moves very well off trend channels once it starts to get very clear price action signals between support, resistance of those channels. You've got support, resistance, and so forth. You can mark out these zones on the chart. So the question is this going to be a larger corrective pullback on the metals at the moment? Is it just going to move sideways, consolidate, and potentially break out of this downward trending channel? And is this just a much larger bull flag pattern in formation at the moment? And then we need to just look towards the US dollar. And the US dollar has been quite important in this price breakdown since the beginning of the year, where we've seen the US dollar index breaking out to 14-year highs at the beginning of January, subsequently producing a bull trap, and it's been correcting ever since then. Broke below the 50 MA just over a week and a half ago, continued to break down below that level. We've found support at approximately the 100 zone, so a key technical level that we are seeing US dollar not break and close below at the moment. We've had a pop to the upside just in the earlier part of the London session today, so I'm watching this closely to see whether we are just going to battle against this overhead resistance channel and potentially just have a failed run above that level and just retrace and break back down again, in which case you would just see a short-term pullback on the commodities, or if this is part of a new retracement higher from a oversold condition, if we're just going to pop out of this trend channel and start to build a base here with the US dollar, that would lend some more weakness to the metals as well. It is worth also having gold euro on the radar, because gold euro has been leading the move with the metals going back to the beginning of January. It was the first to break out ahead of gold against the US dollar. It was the first to break down before the US dollar priced in gold. So it gives you a heads up as to what you want to do with gold versus US dollar. If you're watching gold against the euro, it does lead gold against the US dollar at the moment. So it is just worth having that chart in focus as well if you're trading gold directly. So just be aware of that. Platinum is worth having a look at too right now. Platinum hasn't pulled back as significantly as palladium, has been building up a nice base over this year, currently trading at 975 US dollars per ounce. Any supported bounces, previous resistance becoming support, could be treated as buying opportunities. We took advantage of a short-term buy last week with a bounce off previous resistance turned support around the 950 zone. Just rallied back towards a monthly pivot, took profit, and we're just consolidating at the moment. So we're just waiting really for the next price opportunity, or the next trading opportunity with price action here, dependent on how we continue to consolidate just above some key levels here. So platinum also is on the watch list at the moment. Of course, oil, we discussed oil last week. And to be fair, oil has done very little since last Thursday. We just continue to move sideways. We are in a very tight range at the moment on oil, so we continue to see overhead resistance higher. Well, actually, we've got higher lows, but also lower highs as well. We've got a very clear pennant formation. You can see earlier on this morning, we came back down to the lower end of that pennant. We're actually just about breaking the upper end of that zone at the moment, although we've seen that a number of times over the last week. So oil's got a bit of work to do here. If it can break above the pennant formation and break and close above the last week's worth of highs, you could start to see a run up back towards 55 US dollars a barrel. If it has a failed move here, rolls over, breaks down, I'm targeting the 50-day moving average for a sell, which would be at 51.54. So for me, it's still stuck in this range. It's attempting right now to actually break above this level of resistance. So we'll see whether oil is able to follow through here with any sort of momentum, or whether this is just going to keep consolidating. Really tight range. Unusual to see oil this tight in terms of its daily high and lows, oil being one of the most heavily traded commodities on earth. So it is unusual to see it within such a tight range. Maybe today will be the day that we do see a break. You can see it's starting to try and attempt to break out. If you put it on a 4-hour chart, you've probably seen this a little bit more clearly in terms of the resistance zone. So it's just having a retest again of resistance. Very tight range here at the moment on oil, ricocheting between support and resistance. Needs a decisive break in order to determine the next move here. So oil, we are also watching carefully. If it can break above the last 4 days worth of highs and also close above that, so close above the 54 US dollars per barrel zone, yes, I would look for a short-term move back up to 55 and then continue to assess that towards the close as well. So it's just worth having on the radar right now. In terms of agricultural markets, I would have a look at the following right now. So wheat, we have started to see over the last few days major overhead resistance at the 200-day moving average. We've come into that level quite a few times, tested it, reversed. We've had a bull trap just a couple of days ago. So we've had a bit of weakness here, getting into an overbought condition short term on wheat, and we'll continue to monitor that. Coffee, we came out of our coffee trade earlier on this week, bank profits at the 154 zone. We're looking for a potential sell short opportunity now in the short term. If we get confirmation, you can see risk reward, what we'd be looking at in terms of next levels. So we're just monitoring coffee for some weakness right now, particularly if the US dollar continues to surge. So we've just got that on the radar. Although coffee's been a really good run up, it is one of the best performing commodities this year. So you'd need some really strong confirmation in order to switch and go short. But we have come out of this trade, banked our profits on the position on the long side, and now we're neutral, just waiting to see what the market is going to give us in terms of the next trading opportunity here. And also, of course, yeah, gold very firmly on the radar today as well. So we have come down, hit our level that we were anticipating, the 1185 zone, which is exactly what we discussed last week. So we will be monitoring this level and essentially seeing whether gold does break down any lower, if it gets a retracement beyond and comes down to 1175 zone. Next major underlying level of support below that would be 1160 if it was to continue this momentum to the downside. But at the moment, very much anticipated this move lower. So it's done as predicted, really. And now we're just awaiting some additional price structure here. Also next week, of course, we've got the FOMC statement on Wednesday, non-farm payrolls on Friday, which are bound to be catalysts for more trading opportunities. So with that, our top trades over the last week using our exclusive research-driven strategies have included palladium for a sell, taking advantage of an overbought condition, had a number of signals for a short-term sell-off here. We capitalized on a 470-point profit move, very quick sell-off yesterday that we just came out of on a retest of the 50-day moving average. Gold, of course, as we mentioned last week, banked 700 points profit when we hit our target, going back to the January effect move earlier on in the months. That's worked out really well. And platinum also capitalized on a short-term retracement and a signal to go long, taking it back up to the monthly pivot for 360 points profit. So if you would like access to highly profitable live trade ideas shared with you, ready to implement for instant results, all you need to do to get exclusive access to our private members live trading room is go to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com, complete the application form, and of course we will get in touch with you ASAP. Who's it for? What do you get by being a member of the Gold and Silver Club live traders room? Well, essentially, whether you're a new trader and you're looking to develop a solid understanding of the markets, fast track your results, or even if you're an experienced trader, but you just really want to take your trading to the next level, the private members live trading room is really something you should consider. Private members get access to exclusive live trading room webinars, so you can watch the Gold and Silver Club expert traders analyze the markets right in front of you, pick out highly profitable trade setups, go through entry, exit, profit levels, walk you through each trade step by step. As well as that, you get trade email and SMS notifications alerting you when to enter a trade. Those include details where to enter, exit, place a stop loss. Notifications are sent out in advance notice to make sure you've got lots of time to get into every position. You get commodity research and market insights, so that gives you the ability to get exclusive access to our proprietary trading research and market insights to help boost your win rate and ensure you are getting on the right side of trades. Our research is there to give you the ultimate edge in the markets and fast track your results. So private members live trading room includes exclusive weekly live trading room webinars. You get live trade setups ready to implement for instant results, real-time notifications via email and SMS, so you're not missing out on profitable trades. You get details where to enter, exit, place a stop loss on each trade, a weekly trading plan with a watch list of trade ideas for the week ahead, live trade support to help you through each trade, and of course institutional level research and commodity insights to give you the ultimate edge in the market. So again, to get exclusive access to the private members live trading room, just go to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com, complete the application form, and we will of course get in touch with you ASAP. Just to add to that as well, make sure you mention that you have been on FX Street, either if you're watching the webinar live or the recording. It's very important. We get a lot of applications at the Gold and Silver Club. There's a special bonus offer for clients of FX Street, so do make sure if you're making an application, please do mention that you have watched this via FX Street. Okay, fantastic. So with that, guys, I wish you a fantastic day, good trading, and all the best. We look forward to hear from those of you who will be making an application to join us at the Gold and Silver Club, and we'll see you all real soon. Okay, thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.